I recently visited the Giant's Causeway, a unique and outstanding geological formation in Northern Ireland that is a very popular tourist attraction. Being so popular, it's obvious that it's always completely crowded with people. So how do you get a clean picture of the Giant's Causeway unless you want to go there very early in the morning, which is not always possible? If you follow me, I will show you exactly how you can achieve this result. All you need is a camera, an intervalometer, and of course a tripod. And then you will have to shoot a number of pictures at prefixed intervals, hoping that people will move across your picture. Here is the set of images I will be using for this demonstration. I set the intervalometer on my camera to take a photo every minute, and I let it run for 18 minutes. So now I have 18 pictures to work with. You might be able to use fewer, or you might need to use more, depending on how much movement you have in your scene. So let's have a look at them very shortly. So you see that some people stood in the same place for a while. I got this bag and white jacket here, which was there for a few minutes, and this will definitely cause me some problems later, but we will see how to fix it. In Lightroom, I initially did some basic toning, setting the levels, the contrast and sharpness of the image. And these are all shot in JPEG. I did this to conserve space and speed. I'm not really interested in using raw format for this exercise. So I'm going to select all the photos. I will click on the first, then shift click on the last so that they are all selected. And I will go to File, Export. I will select a folder where to put them, like this Causeway folder. And I will export as JPEG with no resizing. And after export, I want to show them in Finder. So I'll let Lightroom do its job. Lightroom has finished exporting the 18 files. I'm going to switch to Photoshop. In Photoshop, I'm going to go to File, Scripts, Statistics. I'm going to choose stacking mode, median, this is important, and use a folder. I'm going to browse the folder that was created, that was under Pictures, Causeway. So I've got my 18 files, and I'm going to choose a stack mode of median. I'm also going to obtain to automatically align source images. The reason for this is that in this particular case I was not very careful, and at some point during my shoot I accidentally moved my tripod, and you see here between these two images they're not perfectly aligned due to me moving the tripod. So I'm going to tell Photoshop to align them all, which will take a bit more time, but Photoshop is perfectly able to align them. So I'm going to click on OK. So now Photoshop is doing its job. It's opening all those images as layers. It's aligning them. And now it renders the final image computing the median of all the values. What the median operation do is to basically select for the final image, selecting for every pixel the one that is most frequently appears in all the images. So it will create an image which contains everything that is not moving. So here we are. This is the result of that operation. Now you can immediately notice that this image is not perfect. There are some issues. You see some ghosts here, where people actually stood there for quite a bit, so Photoshop was not able to find sky bits to use. And here there's like a ghost of those handbags, the white jacket, and so on. So we will need to get rid of those. Another observation is that the sea and the sky, they look a bit soft. This is because the median operation averaged out a bit all the motion of the waves and the clouds in the sky. You might want to keep this in this case. It looks like a bit of a long exposure. Or you might want to get rid of it. And we'll see how to do that in a minute. So how do we restore proper pixels, bits in these areas here? What we're going to do is we are going to select an image from our stack of images that only has background in these positions. So let's try to find one that doesn't have this handbag. This one looks clean enough and it might work. So I'm going to go to the photo menu, click Edit in Adobe Photoshop CC 2014. So now we're back in Photoshop and we have two images. I'm going to tile them so we can see them both. Before we go to the next step, we need to take this image here, which is still a stacked image. It actually contains layers. Now we're going to flatten it so we can proceed with our work. So we're going to go to Layer, Flatten Image, and we'll combine all the layers into one. And then we take this one and we need to drag this layer on top of the other one. And we want these layers to be aligned. So I'm going to click on the Shift key and then drag this layer on top of the other image. It says you want to proceed. These are different bit depths, but we don't care about this at this point. Let's close this one. We don't need it anymore. So we now have our image, which is composed as two layers. On top we have, let's say, the one that contains the good bits for the sea and doesn't have the handbag. If we hide this layer, we can see the other one with the ghosts. Don't worry about the fact that two layers are a bit misaligned. We are going to align them momentarily by clicking on both of them using the Shift key, then going to Edit and click Auto Align Layers, select the Auto mode, click on OK, and now the two images have been aligned. As you can see, by hiding this one, the background doesn't shift in position. I'm going for this particular image to take the top layer and put it at the bottom. So now I see my combined image on top, and I'm going to add a mask to the top layer. So I'll click on the mask button. This is a white mask, and then I'm going to hide the parts of the mask that contain the bits that I don't want to be shown. So I'm selecting the black color, and I'm selecting a brush. I will use a large brush because I want to proceed quickly. I'm just going over here and erasing the top layer. So you can see that the handbag and the other ghost is gone. I want to do the same with these ghosts here and the sky and the sea too. So now the sea is getting sharp again. I'm using a brush with a bit of feathering, but you can actually go over the other bits, the parts of the background, because they are aligned, so you shouldn't really worry about them. I'm also going to paint all over the sky to restore a good sky. Don't care about those borders, which are coming from the fact that the two layers were not perfectly, the two images were not perfectly aligned. We're going to go and crop them out later. So let's restore good parts of the sea and of the sky. I'm just going to, you see there's this person here that is a bit annoying, but don't worry about that for the moment. The images are not exactly the same tone. This is something that I should have fixed earlier when I was in Lightroom. Let's get rid of all the white bits there. Okay, and now I am going to get rid of this person here by hitting the X key, which will give me a white brush. I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to restore some of the top layer to get rid of that person. This worked pretty well. I'm going now to hit the C key to crop my image so I don't see those borders that result from the slight misalignment of the two images. Yep. I'm cropping a bit at the top too, just in case. Just probably just the 1 pixel difference up there. Hit enter, and here is our clean image. Now I will save this one. I'm saving it to the desktop as a Photoshop file. Wait a second, I forgot one step, that is flattening the image. We don't need all those layers now that we have finished. So let's go save as Photoshop. I already had a previous version, so I'm going to save as Photoshop, or even as JPEG. I mean, I don't care at this point. Let's save as JPEG. Maximum quality. Okay, now let's go back to Lightroom and import this image again using import photos and videos. Let's select the desktop. I've got a bunch of stuff in here, but this is the one I'm going to use, the JPEG. Import it into Lightroom, and here we have our image where we have removed all the people, those annoying tourists that were in all of our photos. I finally did some work in Lightroom, converted the image to black and white, gave it a bit of a warmer tone, work on the levels, the clarity, contrast, and so on to get the final result that I really wanted. My Giant's Causeway picture with no people in it.